I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Deacon Talks Raw with Jake missing. I told him I would send him the link to the studio, and I guess he didn't see the email or the messenger or the text messenger. Tonight, we're going to talk about two things that's happening at the same time that the United States is involved with: Ukraine and Iran. Ukraine, we should have been gotten out of completely. We should have, once the little gay man didn't want to basically listen to nobody, we should have just took all our people and our weapons out of Poland and withdrew and let him take care of it himself. Iran, on the other hand, is different. Iran is biblical, and we're going to get into that today. So, hey, Deborah. Yeah, so, I'm going to show the first clip. We're going to start off with Ukraine because that's kind of the easy one.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is calling for the end of the country's war with Russia after launching a massive counterattack over the weekend. Russia's Ministry of Defense says 3 people are dead and that it shot down nearly 600 Ukrainian drones from the attack. Zelensky says the strike came after a week of Russian attacks that killed at least 24 people in Kyiv. ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy is here with more on that conflict. Hi, Mick. This Ukrainian strike is one of the biggest since the war started 4 years ago. What does it say that Ukraine was able to launch a 9-hour drone strike in Moscow at this point in the fight?
So, Diana, it really shows the major advancements that Ukraine has done in drone warfare, and the modern battlefield has completely changed because of their innovations. And it really has brought the war in Ukraine to essentially a standstill. Russia's advance has slowed considerably. Their casualties have shot up even further than they already were. And it looks like this is going into a long-term stalemate because of these major innovations in technology.
Last week, Russia seemed to time its most intense attacks for the days when President Trump was meeting with President Xi in China. What do you make of that timing?
So it's really unclear why that would be the case. Russia and China are very good allies and have been for a long period of time. It might have been something to do with that, and obviously trying to disrupt a bit of the conversation that was going on between President Xi and President Trump. But ultimately, Russia, I think, sees that they cannot really win this war. They are going into an area where it's almost impossible to move on the battlefront because of the advancement in technology, because of the AI integration with drones, low-cost drones that Ukraine has figured out how to mass produce. And every month it goes up in their ability to produce more drones. There isn't really an end in sight for Russia where they are going to succeed here. So hopefully they will start looking at ways to get to the negotiation table in terms that are acceptable to the Ukrainian people and get this war to come to an end.
And nearly all of the fighting over the past week was done through non-manned drones. How is that changing this war and others around the world?
So yes, it's unmanned, relatively low-cost drones that now have AI integrated into them. So some of these drones identify and target, i.e. kill soldiers solely by themselves. And you cannot escape them. You cannot outweight them. They will wait. They will recharge by solar power, and they will look for what they are believing to be enemy soldiers. And often the case they are, because it is essentially no man's land. Everybody out there is a combatant. And it's having a devastating effect on Russian forces who can barely keep up with the manpower. The level of casualties really hasn't been something seen since World War II. So I think this is really coming to a standstill. And every month, there's more of these drones produced, and the technology gets more and more advanced, and their ability to use them also continues to improve.
Mick Mulroy, thank you.
So as you can see, um, basically, Ukraine, with our help, and I think some of NATO is trying to give them arms also. Basically, is playing cat and mouse with Russia, and right now, Russia is thinking about going another direction that may be super dangerous. Check out this clip. Okay, so basically, Russia is supposedly doing nuclear exercises. That doesn't sound good at all. We're talking about if they drop a atomic nuclear bomb on Ukraine, everything gets evaporated within its range, and now you have people, up in arms or at a standstill of what to do. I'm telling you right now, Ukraine and Russia. Right now, Ukraine is weakening Russia, and a weak Russia, according to the scriptures, antagonizing Israel will be their downfall. The Bible says, God says, I will put them back in their land and will not uproot them ever again. They'll be there permanently. Right now, the Jews are in their land, and yes, they're going to be there permanently. Russia is in cahoots with China and Iran. Many say Russia is Gog Magog, Magog being Putin. They're the ones furthest north of Israel, further than Turkey. So as we look at this right now, and I'm here in Fort Stewart, so I know when the soldiers are leaving and when the soldiers are coming back because it's all over the town. I live in Hinesville, Georgia, so it's all over the town of them coming back or they're leaving because the businesses know it. They know it. But down here there's a lot of warehouse jobs. So you got Target distribution down here, Hugo Boss distribution, you got Hyundai down here, you got JCB, their headquarters is here. Pretty much a lot of the places are here, and that means there's jobs. The cost of living down here is, I mean, it's low. I mean, gas is high. I remember paying $4 gallon gas back in 2010 when Obama, became president. However, because everything else is not that expensive, as far as housing goes, you can afford it. The next country we want to talk about is Iran. Let me show you the difference between Iranian people celebrating and the left protesting. It's only 12 seconds. Check this. Basically, the Iranians are happy that the mullahs are being killed, the Ayatollah is gone. This is what they want. This is freedom for them. And so, with that, they are celebrating. Trump is trying to get those who are protesting arms so they can fight back, and if he can get them armed so they can fight back, the citizens can take back their government. It's not like it is here. If the government ever was to rise up and act a fool, there's 350 million people here in the United States. There's over 400 million guns in resident homes here in the United States. So if the government was to ever get out of pocket, you have former police, former soldiers, former, armed forces that they've already banded together. They're together now. One group is called the 3%ers. They're together now. If the government step out of line, our Constitution says we can take it back by force and elect new leaders. Here's another clip of Iranians celebrating.
President Trump, thank you! President Trump, thank you! President Trump, thank you! Bibi, thank you! Bibi, thank you! Bibi, thank you!
It's okay you feed your face, Carver. Yeah, them young YNs do got some guns, don't they? I'm telling you all this for a reason. I'm showing this for a reason because right now, if you know history and you go back in history, this is how World War III started. There's my co-host, Jake. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because I can't. Oh, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. I hear something. Is that you?
All right. Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now. There we go.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. I don't
So
know.
I had a little microphone issue there. My computer, my main computer, the CPU decided to have a meltdown. So
I got you.
yeah. All right. So how are you doing, Carmen? Carmen, was it Lloyd there? I have
Yes.
terrible eyes. I need glasses like him for sure. So how's everybody doing?
Well, I'm okay, and I'm quite sure the, the few we have in the chat are okay. Um,
Okay. You're okay.
uh, okay, so I had already gone over the Ukraine part. Do you have any other information? Because Ukraine just struck the Moscow with drones,
I'm all
and
for Ukraine. I'm all for it, baby. Get in there and take Putin out. I mean, here's the thing: Putin is kind of trying to relive the Cold War life, uh, and some could even say the Stalin life because he wants to take over the area that he thinks is his, and if we keep appeasing people like that, that's the same thing we did with Hitler. Okay, oh, you can have the Sudeten land and leave everybody alone. So we gave him the Sudeten land, and then what they do? They go after Poland. If you let a man like that keep taking, he'll take so
right,
much
right.
that you'll have no. I mean, I wouldn't say Putin's as bad as Iran. Like Iran is you know been a thorn in our side for many many years. Uh,
Right.
and at least Putin kind of has a brain. Like I don't think he would use a nuclear weapon. Uh, but definitely the Iranians, I would definitely, yeah, they're going to use it if they get their hands on it. It's over. It's over. The only thing that annoys me with the
Yeah, most
Iran
definitely.
thing, the only thing that annoys me with Iran is all this back and forth bullshit with Trump and them talking. Oh, we got a no fire agreement, and I'm gonna level you unless you agree to this. I want some fucking action, okay? Let's stop playing games. I don't know I mean, we're not privy to what he knows. Maybe he knows something we don't, but I just think it's time
That's
for
right.
action. It's time for action. There's so much talk about it, and now we got shipping is all messed up around the world, and it's not getting better. The longer we wait, the longer it's going to get hurt. So that was my little ramble.
I feel you.
But I take it you're kind of
All right.
you're not into getting
Now,
You're good.
for
You're good.
me, really, I like with Ukraine. No, with Ukraine, I said it earlier in the show. You wasn't there. I wanted us to pull out after Lewinsky, uh, you know, tried to be a big guy, tough guy. I was like, okay, tough guy, let me go ahead and withdraw my troops, take all aid. We're not sending them no more money. Yeah, that's me. That's me. And then with
Is that a little
Iran.
pride there showing? You know, a little bit what is that sin called? Come on,
No, I've
no.
been to Ukraine. I've been to Ukraine, the country, when I was in the Navy,
Oh, okay.
and it was a great port. The people were they were beautiful. They were nice. You know, they even showed us where the weed was. Oh, so, however, though, right now in a situation where if you listen to the first meeting with Trump and Ukrainian president, Trump's whole thing was, I want to just stop the killing. I want to stop the dying.
Right, and I could
And the only way
understand
we
that.
could do that, hmm but the only way we could do that is if you give up something, and then he could never get both Putin and him in the same room. If you notice that,
I mean, but whose
he
fault's
could never
that?
get them together. It's their fault,
I,
really. I mean, you schedule a meeting and you're trying to be a mediator between two countries, and one leader doesn't want to be in the same room with the other, and
yeah,
it's crazy. And then, um, all of a sudden, now Ukraine strikes Moscow, and now Putin is basically doing nuclear drills.
I don't think he'll use a nuke. Um, Russia's really not like. I mean, I don't think he'll use a nuke. That's a little drastic. If he used a nuke, a lot of the world would really put the screws on Russia. We're talking sanctions. Like they're going to wish that they were Iran at that point. You know what I mean?
There
I
you
mean,
go. I hear you. I hear you.
but at the same time, you can't expect Zelensky when Putin gives him an offer that says, "Okay, well, we're going to take half of Ukraine." Well, dude, you already stole the Crimea. Okay, well, how?
Right.
Why am I going to give you more without any guarantee that you're going to leave us alone anymore? You know, because Putin could take that other land 5 years later, come back and attack him again, and finish the job.
Now listen. Here's the reasoning. Trump has already told Ukraine, no, you won't be a part of NATO. The reason why Putin is taking land, you know, because he's trying to move the border, because Russia is not a part of NATO, and
Right.
he doesn't want NATO at his front door or back door. He doesn't want them there. And so if Ukraine becomes a part of NATO, now I have NATO at my front door. And so I need to take the land so I can keep that buffer of Ukraine not being in NATO, and NATO only being in Poland, because right next to Ukraine is Poland.
Yeah, and see
That's
that
what
would
that's
be my
that's
thing.
that is Putin's thinking. That's what we believe.
So what's the most logical thing? You don't want NATO in your
I
backyard.
got you.
So what you're going to do is you're going to attack a country and absorb them, and then literally NATO is right next to you anyway, because Poland's right next to Ukraine. If he takes Ukraine, NATO's right up his back door anyway. So I don't know. Maybe there's some more
I
there that
got
we
you.
don't
Sugar
know.
Shane.
That
Look,
reasoning just doesn't have enough behind it for me. There's got to be something else.
I hear you. Look. This is me looking at it from because they got their own little consortium, with Russia, Iran, and China, that they got going on. As far they have other countries within them also. Um, but like I said, Ukraine right now doing what they did a couple of days ago, they probably weakened. They've probably weakened Russia.
Oh yeah,
Russia's short-handed now.
what that was a big step attacking Moscow, and I knew it was going to come for years because if you
Right.
look at the early stages of the Ukraine war, if you nobody would have thought that drones would be playing as a crucial part as they are now. Like most of the kills on the battlefield now
Right.
aren't man versus man with a machine gun or whatever. These are drone kills. It's crazy. Like we're like combat and the way it's happening is evolving so fast that we don't
Yes.
even know how to defend against it. I mean, at first they started jamming drones with radio jammers. Well, now they have drones that have fiber optics following out behind them, so they can't be jammed. The only way you could stop the drone is either shoot it or somehow break that connection to that fiber wire. And if you've seen pictures of the battlefield, it looks like a spider has laid web all over it from
Right.
all the drones going over. It's
Wow.
insane. Like they've already said there's probably trillions of miles of fiber laying across fields and stuff. It's warfare is changing, and I don't know if we're even ready for it.
It is. It and listen, like you're in this area. You see the soldiers that come off of Fort Stewart, and I'm quite sure you look at them like I do. Wait a minute, you're in the army?
No, no.
I,
But I mean, we're us being this close to Fort Stewart too. Like if nukes are thrown, we're probably in that area that's going to get
oh
stomped on.
yeah,
So yeah, all the stuff around the world certainly does sometimes keep me up at night. But then I think, if they really do nuke us, it probably won't be that. I'll probably be dead before I even knew it happened.
wow. I mean, I'm just, and when I moved from DC, that wasn't my concern. I moved from the DMV area because it was, I knew I could find work here,
Hmm.
and it was less expensive, you know, for me to live here. And but now that I'm here, I will wake up, like after the first 6 months I was here, I was like, what are these explosions? What's really
Uh,
going on?
like we can hear them from where I live in Little Whiskey, so we can hear them when they're doing their tank training, and
Yeah.
you hear boom, 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 boom. All
Yeah.
the boys are having fun in the field this weekend. It's I mean, but yeah, a lot of people they come down here and they're like, "What is that? What's going on?"
Yeah.
What surrounded by a military base, or I should say, the housing surrounded around the military base. But this is one of the things you have to get used to if you live next to a base.
But not hitting that. Hold on now. I grew up around Bowling Air Force Base. I did not hear I didn't hear those sounds, in the night. Like around this time at night, them doing I never heard those sounds.
Well, you just answered your question. Why? It was an Air
Yeah.
Force base.
But then I had a house in Upper Marlboro. I'm not that far from Andrews. I didn't hear those. I didn't hear that. I was stationed in Norfolk, and my first tour there in Norfolk, I lived right off base on I forgot what they called the name of that area. But you didn't hear. I didn't hear that stuff. But then I'm thinking, we're talking Navy and Air Force. We're not talking Marines and Army.
Yeah, I haven't lived next to a Marine base, so I don't know how noisy they are, other than eating crayons. So I don't know. Any Marines in here? Are the Marine bases loud? Like I know sometimes Stewart's loud. Like you hear it.
Yeah,
They're going ham on them with them APCs and them tanks and stuff.
right. And actually, Stewart is the because I was told Fort Knox is the main tank training facility. That's 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 the main tank uh, training facility, and Fort Meade is the second.
Well, what do you think about tanks? I think tanks are kind of like almost like battleship status right now, in my opinion. I think they're becoming obsolete. I don't really see tanks playing a big part in the future.
I don't either. Basically, after I played a video of I played the one video of what Russia was doing, and they showed the robot, and whatnot. Okay, they're getting ready to deploy robots on people. Okay,
Well, they already do.
right.
Yeah, I Ukraine's using little robots with 50 cows on them and
Wow.
literally wiping out whole positions of the Russians with robots. And I mean, it's a good thing because it's a good thing and a bad thing because it saves lives, but you're still taking lives.
Right.
Like for the good side, moms and dads don't have to worry about their kid not coming home,
Right. Right.
but somebody's parents is going to lose out, and that's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand is war doesn't matter if you don't like the enemy or not. Somebody's mom, somebody's brother, so somebody's losing something that's important to them.
Right. I know. I want to jump to the Iran thing real quick. My dad, when my dad he got drafted into the army.
For Vietnam,
Yeah.
yeah, my dad was too.
And now check this out. This is the weird part now. My grandfather wasn't drafted for World War II. And I just realized why. My grandfather was the only child. He was the only male. And
Well,
remember, Abraham Lincoln created the rule.
no, it wasn't Abraham Lincoln.
Who was it?
I can't. I want to say it was the Donovan brothers, um, but it was actually they changed the rule in World War II because there was a cruiser, a U.S. cruiser, where five brothers were serving on board
Oh
on
man.
the same ship, and it got destroyed by the Japanese, and all five brothers perished in that ship. And at that point, they said, "No more are we going to allow siblings to serve together, let alone all the male heirs serving, because that wiped out a family. Gone. You know what I mean?
Basically.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine that mother? Not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, five times she's getting a flag.
But
That poor woman. That's correct. That man, I don't know if that
yeah.
that don't break you. Nothing will.
Oh
Five
my
sons
goodness.
instantly. So that's why that rule was changed. Um, and Saving Private Ryan was kind of along those lines
Part of that,
too.
yeah. But I thought it was done. I thought it went back further than World War II though.
Nope, World War II is where it started. Yep. The
Mm.
Sullivan brothers, I believe, was their name. Let me Google it. I want to be sure because I don't want to sound like a dummy. I believe it was the Sullivan.
And I think Saving Private Ryan was about them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. It was the Sullivan brothers from Waterloo, Iowa, who
Okay.
served together on the light cruiser USS Juno, and they were all killed in action in November 42. So this would have been earlier part of the war in the Pacific for us, uh, because the Japanese were absolutely they were doing some good damage to us early on in the war in the Pacific. We were making gains, but it wasn't until we could wheedle down the Japanese enough that we could get a really good foothold.
That's right. All right, so I'm about to show this clip of Trump um, in Iran. This is from News Nation. Check this out.
New reports this morning also say that Iran has a new proposal to end the war. However, it's not clear what's in this new offer, but it comes with growing fears that the fighting could restart at any moment, as negotiators warn both sides are changing their goalposts. News Nation international correspondent Robert Sherman has the latest from Doha, Qatar this morning. Robert, President Trump is warning Iran the clock is ticking. Tell us more about that, and also what you're learning about is in this new offer.
It's a consequential time here in the Middle East, Marky, with both the United States and Iran saying they fundamentally do not trust one another, still remain apart on some of these key issues here. And now we approach a watershed moment where the president is reportedly expected to meet with his national security team tomorrow in order to determine what the course of action forward is. He has left the door open in recent comments for military action to resume. He does want a deal from Iran, but he's emphasizing in a new warning to Tehran that they're running out of time. This is the statement that he put out on that, saying for Iran, the clock is ticking, and they better get moving fast, or there won't be anything left of them. Time is of the essence. Simultaneously, you've had the president picking up the phone and speaking with key allies. That includes Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, reportedly to discuss the recent visit to China, but also the future forward when it comes to Iran. New tensions have also been injected into the region after we saw the UAE announcing 3 drones entered their airspace from the west. 2 of them were intercepted, but 1 of them struck near a nuclear facility. The UN's nuclear watchdog says there were no injuries, no change in nuclear levels. And while the UAE has not directly blamed Iran for this, they've certainly hinted at it, or some of their proxies as well. For the time being, the U.S. is maintaining pressure on Tehran through that U.S. naval blockade, which has now turned around 81 ships, in hopes of pushing Iran to the negotiating table and striking a deal. But certainly a lot of uncertainty as we approach a new week here. Marky?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think this blockade's doing anything. I think it's pointless. This blockade, what's it doing?
Okay.
Iran's already got it shut down. If a boat goes through, they're going to shoot it or mine it.
Well, that's the thing, though. They don't have very many little patrol boats left because we keep blowing them out the water. And our blockade is probably working. We're not letting none of their tankers come out. Their storage bins are filling up. They're running out of room to store oil, and then, the U.S. is letting through, they're letting through ships when they come through our blockade. And then whenever Iran decides they want to shoot at other ships like UAE or Saudi Arabia, we show up and blow those little ships out the water.
Well, you do know that with some types of oil drilling, I don't know how their process is in Iran, but they can't just shut these pumps off.
No, they can't.
And if they run out of storage, they only have 2 options: to shut them down, which if you do it, you could permanently damage the well where it won't produce anymore.
That's right.
Or dump it. So what is Iran going to be doing? Dumping oil into the sea, causing an environmental issue too? Like, at this point, let's just go bomb their refinery.
I think that's on his mind, is to do that. And the reason why I believe that is he doesn't want to hurt the people. Remember, you have protesters protesting the whole government right now. And they keep, putting up new leaders who still think like the Ayatollah.
Well, the Ayatollah's son, they believe, is even dead. They don't even think he's alive, but they're still using him as head of state.
That's what I'm saying.
But he ain't even making decisions. So
it sounds like something that happened in Cuba a few years ago.
It kind of sounds like to me that, because we've had so many back and forth with Iran already, it sounds to me like we don't even know when we're talking to someone if this person's actually in charge, because Trump says, hey, we made a deal, and then like 2 hours later Iran's like, actually no, we didn't. You remember that couple flip-flops back and forth where he said we got a deal and the strait's going to be open, and Iran said no? Are we
Right.
talking to the right people in Iran, or what's going on? Something's going on. I mean, if I was President Trump, my patience would be wearing thin.
And I think it is the whole thing in a nutshell, though, is like I said earlier, he doesn't want to hurt the people. It's the leadership that he's after. He's getting good intel because you got people on the ground, basically telling not just us, but Israel where these people are hiding.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, every day you hear someone in leadership position in Iran's getting blown up.
right.
I'm just waiting for the Kurds to make their move, because we've been sending them weapons. Like, they're sitting right outside Iran's borders. Like, when are is Trump waiting for them to get organized to do something? Because that would make sense then.
Got you. I got you on that one.
Right? Like, that would make sense if he's waiting for them to get their shit ready. Because what would be the point of us going in there and bombing the shit out of them if we can't capitalize on it and get friendly boots in the... Because honestly, I don't want to use our boots.
Right. That's right.
But unfortunately, when you have a situation like this, someone's boots has to be on that soil.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Kurds are willing, then, hopefully they don't turn into a Taliban situation where we're giving our future enemies a bunch of weapons. That's always a concern, too, because, the Taliban used to be friendly with us.
Oh, but, Iran says they're ready for us if we do anything. Check this one out.
US President Donald Trump has called off a major attack on Iran, which was planned for today, allowing more time for peace negotiations to play out. But the Vice President, J.D. Vance, believes America is now in a good spot with negotiations.
Where we are now is the president has told us to aggressively negotiate with the Iranians. We're in a pretty good spot here, but there's an option B. And the option B is that we could restart the military campaign to continue to prosecute the case, to continue to try to achieve America's objectives.
Donald Trump is warning Tehran that Washington is ready to strike if Iran leaders don't give up their nuclear ambitions.
Armed members of an Iranian tribe chant "Death to America," trying to project power and resolve in the face of new military threats by the U.S. and Israel.
With this gun, I'll stand against the enemy until the last breath. Me and my small children are all ready.
President Trump planned to launch a major attack on Iran Tuesday, but called it off, citing progress with peace talks.
We were going to be striking it would have been happening right now. Yeah, it was all done. The boats, the ships are all loaded.
Trump says Gulf allies asked him to postpone the strikes for at least 2 to 3 days because they think a deal is close. But it must include Iran's nuclear program, or U.S. forces will go forward with a large-scale attack.
They may be ready to actually make the deal the president wants. I think our Gulf partners and allies are right to say, let's see if we can get there.
Democrats say resuming military action without approval from Congress would violate the Constitution. And they want Republicans to support a war powers resolution to limit further strikes.
End the war, get the troops out of harm's way, or else Republicans will learn that the clock is ticking, not only on this war, but on their own political futures.
In the meantime, ship traffic is still extremely limited in the Strait of Hormuz, but oil prices are falling with apparent progress in negotiations.
Man, seeing that guy talk shit about Democrats, telling them to end the war, but, Obama killed more children than Trump did. But we'll just gloss over that.
Hey, look, people don't. I mean, they don't remember that, and the reason why they don't remember it because the mainstream media didn't report it. Only people reported was independent news stations and Fox.
Well, another point to that is, do you remember the two shooters that shot up the Muslim synagogue?
Yes.
Guess what they were?
Democrats.
Trans.
Trans? What?
Another trans shooter. Another trans shooter.
We
And the
talking
left-
about? You talking about yesterday's shooting?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah.
What is wrong? This is how you know these people need help.
And that's the
This
thing.
is
Like,
how you know these people need help.
they were like, you hear the left and all that, the LGBT, they're like, you know, we're with Iran, we're with Palestine. They don't give a flying fuck about you. Pardon my language, but they do not care. They will throw you off a roof and do the most. You think Republicans are bad? Most Republicans don't even care that you're gay or trans. That's
right.
that's the honest to God truth. We don't. I don't. You know. But when you make it, you're trans and LGBT, your only what do you call it? Only personality trait is the LGBT, where you got to tell everybody that you're trans, and you know you have to see me as a woman when you're not. Like, that's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy. You want to live you want to dress up as a woman and portray yourself as a woman. That's fine. Do it. But don't expect people, just because that's how you want to be seen, to address you as such.
All right.
There may be some instances where a trans woman absolutely passes and you can't tell, and then you call them, ma'am or whatever, and that's okay too, But I am not going to call a dude with a fucking beard wearing a tutu a female. It's not happening. I'm not even going to take you seriously. At that point, it's more of a fetish to you. It's a mental illness.
It is.
I've talked to a lot of trans people, and you do have a lot of good trans people out there.
That's right.
Like Blair White is a level-headed person, really good person to talk to, and she'll tell you, I'm not a woman. I'm a man. I just look like a woman. That's it. She's very right-leaning, and the left is like, oh, you're going against the LGBT. You're a terrible person, and she's just telling it how it is. And then you have a lot of gay Republicans too, and they can't wrap their mind around how someone could be gay and Republican.
It's policies. If you can tell, you're looking at both parties, and basically, you got one party that they're not bothering you, they're not messing with you, they're not asking you to do this, that, and the third to promote X, Y, and Z. You're accepting whenever you come to a rally, or a meeting. And then you have the other side that's like, speak your truth, do this, get in their face, do this, that, and the third. And that's different.
And honestly, I have yet to see. Sorry to interrupt, but I have yet to see a Republican or right-leaning person. Savannah has its gay pride thing every time. There's a lot of people who aren't gay that go to it, and they're Republicans, and I go to it too. Okay. Right. I have yet to see anybody who was a hardcore Republican look at one of them and just be like, "You're a faggot."
No,
stuff like that. No, we don't care. Like, you want hate? Go to the left. The left hates everything that isn't that doesn't agree with them. You could be black, you could be white, and they'll hate you. It doesn't matter. Just go against what do they say is right. Go against them one time. That's it. And you're forever labeled a terrible person, and you never belong in society. And they want to throw you in jail. They want to prosecute you. They want to take the electoral college away. All this crazy stuff that only fascists would even think of. Straight up. Nothing Republicans are doing is unconstitutional, let alone fascist. And Nazis lost its kick. Call me a Nazi if that's what you want to do. It don't bother me.
It's amazing, I know what Scripture says. However, when it comes down to God, these are still God's creation. They're still His creation, and so I have to treat them the same way I would want God to treat me is. And so, yes, I'm not going to bash and judge them. If I can lead them to Christ, then that's my objective. How they're humans, treat them as humans. When I worked at the prison, every time they put a new officer underneath me for me to train, I would tell them, I was like, if you treat them like humans,
Yep, I worked in the
respect.
federal prison, and we had a guard that he came in there thinking he was badass Billy, and I'm like, dude, you can't. This is, I mean, I don't know if you worked state or whatever, but I worked a federal prison.
I worked at the state.
Federal prison, these are some bad. States got bad, but
Yeah.
feds got the baddest of the baddest, and they don't care.
No, don't.
They don't care. You're going home. This is where they live. You're in their house when you come into this.
That's right.
And if you don't have I'm not saying you have to be kind to them, because they're not going to be kind to you, right? But you have to have that level of respect and professionalism. You know what I mean? You don't have to be in there and be like, "Hey, buddy, how are you doing this morning?" and stuff like that. But you got to have respect. You know what I mean? And they remember, because that's all that their whole life revolves around seeing you every day. They will remember you. And one of them days when you're walking the line and your coverage isn't paying attention, they're going to come out. And it don't matter if you hit that panic button, because they're quick.
Yeah.
They're quick. All it takes is once to the neck and you're done.
They planned it months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I worked at Smith State Prison. That's a level 5 prison here in Georgia.
Oh, yeah, I heard about him in the paper, the ex-warden.
Yeah.
Were you under him?
No, I was gone before.
Okay.
Look, when he came in, I was on the IRT. I was in special operations. And then I left. But they already knew he was dirty.
Ugh.
They wanted him to super hang himself, basically. They already knew he was dirty.
And that was a good paying job, man. That was like $150,000 a year job.
The warden, he gets his own house. Come on, bro.
He doesn't really, the warden is more of an administrative and public face job.
Basically.
It's not like you're walking the block all the time. You're not. You're going to go around and you're going to talk to some inmates. Like the warden that we worked with, he would come down to solitary and talk to all the inmates once a week, whoever was in solitary. And he did it to make them feel human. Because when you put a man in there, and we had a guy who was in solitary for 30 years. 30 years. He never, he's probably still in it, to be honest. But that was his highlight, because someone came and talked to him. They remember. And boy, if you're on their bad side when they having a bad day, you're not going home.
Like I said, it's amazing. It's amazing how, they were like, Jackson not afraid to go into any of the dorms. That's because they know me, and I tell them, I told them from the beginning. I get in the dorm, put everybody on the door, and I tell them, I was like, okay, I have to care about what you do inside this dorm.
Yep.
However, don't make me do my job.
Right. Like, don't give me a reason.
Don't give me a reason.
Don't give me a reason. If I walk past your door and you got your window covered and I knock on it and say, hey, clear the window.
There you go.
Rip that shit down, because I won't be back for another half hour. As soon as I turn my back and walk away, put it back up. I don't care. As long as I don't see it and I don't have a reason to do my job, then I'm going to leave you alone.
That's
it. If you tell me to go fuck myself, then I have to call CERT. And you don't want to play with them boys. And when they come on the block, the CERT guys, and you have an inmate that refuses to cuff up, they're not going to play games with you. They're going to come in with the riot shield, with they got the shock on the front, and they're going to open that port up first, and they're going to hose you down with pepper, and the whole tier is going to be in pain because that gas don't stay in that one room.
That's it.
And then I have to walk through that too. And I'm not really a fan of it either, man, because that's kind of irritating. You do get used to it after like a couple hours of walking in it. You know, first 20 minutes you're hacking up a lung, but then you kind of get used to it. And what a thing to get used to.
I got you. Jake, introduce yourself to the panel.
My name's Jake Rafter. Let's see here. There's not real. I mean, I met him at a car show. Politically, we mostly line up politically. I am probably more left than he is, but I'm right leaning. You know, I was telling him earlier. Actually, you know, if I had to call myself a Democrat, I'd have to say I was a '90s Democrat.
There you go.
But now I absolutely could not align myself with the Democratic Party. Because nothing they say aligns with me. Like I'm Republican now, but it is what it is. They did it to themselves. But I worked security, close personal protection, and the prison systems. And my wife was in the military and retired here out of Stewart, and we just kind of just stayed here. You know, and we're like, well, we're here. We might as well just stay here, and that's how we came to be.
Speaking of her. What I know she want to do some stuff to the pickup. What has she done?
No, it's her Mustang.
The Mustang. Okay.
We're gonna tube the front end of it and put a whole new front end of the car in, just for the LS motor and all that. She hasn't decided if she wants to go with an automatic or a manual. Hopefully, she goes automatic because I don't think she has the. You know, driving a stick's one thing, but when you drive a stick that's really fast, things can go bad really quick.
Really quick.
At least with an automatic, all you need is your foot on the brake. Most times you'll be all right. Kung Fu married. Deb wants to know. I think he is married, actually.
Yes, I am married. My wife is in a nursing home right now. She has dementia.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Matter of fact, my wife used to come with me to the car meets.
Yeah, I think I've seen her a few times.
Yeah, and but as she got worse, it got to the point where I couldn't take care of her.
That's a terrible disease. I feel for you, man.
Goodness.
Because it's a person you've been with for so many years, and you can remember all these things. And then sometimes she's lucid. She remembers you. Other times she's like, "Who is this dude hugging on me?"
That's right.
Get away from me. And it's it's a terrible, terrible. I feel bad for you.
So, but other than that, you know, I go to see her as much as I can. She's right here in Little Wissy.
That's where I'm at, Little Wissy.
Yeah. So, but you know, I like the facility where she's at. They love her. They say she's one of their favorite patients. And just like you said, when she's lucid,
yeah.
Oh my. So
it's a terrible disease, man. It's man.
Yeah. But we're up on the hour. I just wanted to let you guys know that this might be a 1 week thing. Me and Jake, because basically we both we're into the politics and the day-to-day news stuff, and so I'm thinking we can grab some topics and we can talk about them.
You know, I'll talk about trans issues as much as I will about bombs and bullets. You know,
Yeah.
like I said, not you know, not all trans people are bad, and even the LGBT wants to get away from all the other alphabet part. Like it's you're starting to see a split in it. Like the lesbians and gays, they're like, hold up, we don't want all this other crazy stuff attached to us. We're gay and we're lesbian. That's all we are.
And the thing that got me was, you know, when you mentioned the two shooters, it's like, really?
Yeah, they're craziness, and you won't hear it. You see how like that news story kind of disappeared. Now you know why, because it doesn't fit the left's narrative, and the people who vote blue all the time, they're like, that somehow it doesn't click in their head
Right.
that the left only feeds you this stuff when it benefits them.
That's
Other
right.
than that, it's out of the news. No more. You won't hear nothing about it. Off to the next topic. What is it? Hantavirus and Ebola now, They're like,
Right.
oh, they're trying to distract us with hantavirus and Ebola. It's Trump's fault Ebola got out of hand because he took U.S. aid away. That's crazy. Come on. We had an Ebola when they were getting the money.
Right.
And then it wasn't doing any damn good. If they wouldn't eat monkeys.
There you go.
They're eating monkeys and bats and stuff, and that's where the virus is hosting to.
You're not eating chickens and turkeys.
And not only that, a lot of these populations in that area are very superstitious.
Yes.
Even modern medicine, they'll think that we're doing some kind of witchcraft. So the last big Ebola outbreak we had, they actually had family members breaking into the quarantine zones to pull their family members out. And of course, doing that, you're going to infect more people doing it.
That's right.
So education is, if we're going to give them money for anything, it should be education, health education.
That's it. That's it.
But, all this money we're giving away, man, everybody hates, but sure have their hands out.
Oh, my goodness.
Man.
And then we letting people steal it, and they getting upset because we finding that they stealing it.
Yeah, we're luring. We luring out. We caught on, bud. We caught on. Yeah, they misspelled the learning center too. It's just like
the Leering Center. Yeah.
Yeah, like they misspelled it. Like, come on. You ain't
crazy.
even trying now. Like,
there you go.
Fraud's on easy mode and they're cashing in quick. Like, you had like the COVID with the what was that fund that people could apply for?
Oh man.
Yeah, it slipped my mind. But anyway, people were paying for business loans and stuff for the government.
The PPP loans.
Yeah. And people had like all of a sudden they got like 30 businesses in one trailer park.
Right. And they are there at a office building, and the same suite has 100 businesses out of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, how is this not caught earlier? You can't tell me that it's all just mismanaged.
Listen,
there's gotta be someone getting kickbacks for that.
Definitely. Jake, did you know through Doge there was like over 100,000 government jobs of people who weren't really real people, and they were getting paid?
Wait, government jobs?
Government jobs.
How do you get a government job and don't exist? How does this happen?
Who's getting this money?
Yeah. And you remember a couple weeks ago, I forget what state it was, wanted to delete a bunch of dead people from the voting polls.
Right.
And the Democrats had a heart attack over it. I'm like, well, they're dead. What does it matter?
Right.
Why are they there?
Right.
Like, the voter roll is not a memorial to the dead people that voted Democrat. They're what is going on? They don't need to be there.
I'm just saying, it's crazy.
There's so much in this government. I think if we really went after it, people would be shocked. Yeah. Well, the right would be shocked. The left would be like, "Oh, that's nothing. That's okay. Don't mess with our Somalians. They deserve our hard-earned money." Yeah, Amber Young, where's my kickback, right? Where is my kickback? Because I've paid into it. I've paid in probably more than Somalis have, and I'm still I'm not winning.
So, but like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a new thing for the Deacon Talks Raw with Jake.
I would love to be back.
So look for us again next Tuesday at 9, which basically, or maybe 9:30, is I have Bible study from 7 to 9. So yeah, I got free time after 9 for about an hour and a half. So me and Jake can kick it. And hopefully he can bring his wife on one day to join us.
Yeah, because I'll let y'all in a little secret. My My wife is trans. Imagine that. So, and you know what? I'm not even going to bullshit you. For me to be married to a trans person, I have to be a little bit gay, just a little bit. Facts.
I got
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. I consider when I refer to her, I refer to her as a her.
Right.
But I don't expect anybody else who doesn't. You don't have to. Like, if you don't want to call her a female, don't call her a female. That's up to you. I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna be like, oh, you bigot. And I mean, it is what it is. Love is love for me, and I don't care who you love as long as you love them and you're a good person. That's all that you need to do in life.
Amen.
Just go the extra step and be nice to someone once in a while. When you're getting your coffee, pay for the guy behind you.
Oh, man.
All you gotta do is open a door for somebody. Like, what happened to being nice to people? Like, when I grew up, all the doors were unlocked. I could go over to my friend's house. His mom would feed me, and if his mom needed a ride to the store, my mom would take her. Like, it's crazy now. My wife or my friend? What do you mean? Yes, my wife. My wife is trans. Yes, I consider my wife. But I mean, if you want to go biological, yeah, you should be my husband. But hey, it is what it is. I don't hate on anybody for their choices. I don't have to agree with other people's choices.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be an evil person to somebody just because they don't agree with me.
Tenfold, brother.
And I love all your chat here. Has been really nice. Probably think less of me now that I'm married to a tranny.
No, they won't.
That's cool. That's cool. And see, most people can't even. If you use the tranny word, they'd freak out in the LGBT. I don't give a shit. I look at another tranny and call him a tranny. I'm like, how can you do that when your wife's trans? Because you're a dude.
Got you.
You're a dude in a dress. Anyway, folks, I think he wants to get out of here. But hopefully I'll be back. Maybe you even meet the wife and you can ask her some questions to a trans person who's not crazy.
That's right.
Not saying she don't have not saying she doesn't have a mental illness, because it is a mental illness, and she'll tell you that. Okay. She knows it, but she'll answer your questions honestly.
Now I've had a guest on my show. If you go back through my YouTube channel, I forgot Ted. One of our first guests on the Jackson podcast, he was a trans. He did all the operations and everything. And this was after he had a couple of kids and was married.
Okay, yeah.
So, but he says he's back now. I invite him a lot of times on the Jackson podcast because he is a believer and he does have input, and he goes to the prophecy conferences that my uncle go to. So he's into that, we're in the end times thing and something's about to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a religious man either, but at the same time, I will debate religion and I will respect religion. It's not me to say who's right or wrong.
That's right.
And I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that you're able to do your faith.
That's it.
Just like I would step up if a KKK came in the street and started getting beat up. I would protect his right to be a douchebag.
There you go.
Because that's, in the end of the day, that's the American way. Right. You don't have to agree, but everybody has the right to say what they want to say. You don't have to sit there and listen to them. If you don't like what they have to say, keep walking. Don't give them the time of the day. Let them stand on. Yeah. Nobody forces you to do anything. Nobody's a slave in the United States. The only ones that are slaves are the Democrats in their heads.
Oh my goodness. Whew. Anyway, we got to
go. All right, man.
Thank you, Jake.
See you later. See you later, Carmen. Later. Amber Young. See y'all.
Deborah.
Yep.
Sugar Shane. Oh man, thank you guys for coming through.
Yep, appreciate you.
Who did I miss? Carmen. I think I got all of you guys. Thanks for blowing up the chat. And we'll see you hopefully Friday on the Jackson podcast, where we'll have Pastor Damon on with Apostle Jay and my co-host.
I'll come on and I'd like to meet him too.
We'll see.
We'll see. He's like, I don't know yet. I don't know.
But I don't know if Mom will get me a guest, but we'll see.
Hey, work it out. Well, like I said, I'm always available. I'm around. I'll see you guys. I'll probably still watch your stream on Friday anyway, so you might see me pop in there. So if you need a moderator for it or something, just let me know.
Most definitely.
What's that?
I said most definitely.
Yeah, just let me know. Send me an email. All right.
Got you.
All right.
You guys later. I gotta catch a flight, so this my theme music going out.
At least internationally, travel to
London, Paris, Tokyo, Japan, go to New York, LA,